What's up, good people? It's your boy Hoom Boom back with another segment of the Hold Up Show. And hold up, did they stay or were they stuck? Today we're going to get into a little bit of a sensitive topic about parental trauma. Today I ran across a clip from a content creator named Kenyana Johnson, and it touched me, and I want to share my thoughts with you guys. Let's get into it. Hold up.
Y'all be like, how you mad at the parent that stayed? Cause the one that knew they wasn't shit ran away. And the one that stayed was also abusive, beloved. Now I ain't saying that I'm not grateful for the food and the shelter that you provided, but it was very evident to me that you didn't like me. You tolerated me, you took care of me out of obligation. And I appreciate you. You ain't have to do that. You ain't really have to do that, but I appreciate you. I always will. But don't be confused when I'm grown and I can provide food and shelter for myself. I ain't got nothing to say to you because you don't know me and I don't know you. I was just the person that you housed. Gave a little medicine to when I had a little cold or something. And again, girl, I appreciate you. Grandma, auntie, all y'all. But the pretending is done. Thank you for getting me here. I will never forget it. And I ain't mad at nobody. The one that ran away or the one that stayed. Both of y'all niggas shouldn't have been hunching on each other in the first place. Is all I'm saying. But I know life be lifing. Life be lifing. I get it. You needed your little nut. And I appreciate you for what you did.
So there you have it. I want to thank Kenyana Johnson for sharing her thoughts, sharing her experience. I mean, not in a detailed way, but she said it the right way. In my own experience, my parents were married. They met in the military. Don't know the details. Don't know the intricacies of their relationship. But by the time I was probably 3 or 4, it was already completely over and already full blown toxic, right? Now, mind you, my father wasn't someone who was dealing with any external issues such as, drug or alcohol abuse or something like that. He was fairly successful or fairly responsible man that uh, handled his business as an adult. And the same goes for my mother, right? She was very well educated, always had great jobs, could hold down the household by herself as far as I could see from a kid's point of view. But I also seen toxic traits on both sides, especially as I became an adult. Because I had to myself self-evaluate, become self-aware of some of the behaviors that I may have displayed or that I may have adopted from being in a somewhat of a unwanted or abusive situation, right? And it felt as though like the older I got and the more my personality started to shape from the environments that I was placed in, it always felt like she didn't really want me, so to say. Like, I was not what she envisioned her child to be, right? And she has a right to feel that way. It's her life. It's her opinions. It's, the thing about that is, even as a parent, when you try to hide your feelings or hide your, what's the word? Hide your perception or hide whatever conclusion you've made about a person, whether it's your child or not, just the conclusion you've come to about this person. And I just felt as though she never really liked me. Like, she never really took the time to know me. It was very much as Tupac said, it was very much a dictator versus little country thing going in the house. And it was, it would always it always felt like it was going to get to a point where it was going to explode and I was going to be on the street and all that stuff. And eventually that's exactly what happened. It just took about till 12 or 13 before the get up out my crib stuff started. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, I felt as though that it was because I showed so many traits of my father, maybe, that she was recognizing or she was seeing that just may have pissed her off. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I looked it more like my mom, but I must have acted a lot like my father. You know what I mean? And didn't know it, So also we just clashed. It was never a loving environment. Never felt as though I was being supported or encouraged or whatever, right? But I love my mother. I love both my parents. I love them for bringing me here. I love them for giving me life. I love them for the good traits and things that I did gather from both of them, whether one was there or one wasn't or not, But like she said, we're older now. We don't have to pretend. If it makes it even more of a difficulty on my end because I'm an only child. Well, I'm my mother's only child, so it was more of a like, how don't you love, support, and nourish your only child? So then it made me think on a wider scale. Maybe she's dealing with her own trauma of not having a father or not knowing the full story or context of how she got here on this earth, and demons that she may just be dealing with on her own that she may not have never overcome or learned how to deal with, right? So I can only speak on really that end because I didn't really meet my father until I was a full-grown adult with a child of my own. Even though I was young and still very unaware of the world and things around me, it was, I was already early 20s. It was like, cool, you want to meet me, you want to whatever, but you could have been did this. Like you could have been did this. You know what I'm saying? Like you chose not to, right? You knew about me. You chose not to, right? And it's no beef. It's no judgment. It's you felt as though you needed to do what you needed to do, right? Trust me, I had to live with my mother, so I could only imagine having to deal with her as a baby mom or as a ex-wife or, you know what I mean? So I get it. Like I have forgiven my parents for whatever I felt as though, traumatically happened to me or was you know, what I endured or experienced as being a child under their guidance and all that. So yeah, it was like not only with among my parents, it always also felt like amongst immediate family, like I just was one that they didn't want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm a kid, but I could feel the vibes. I could feel, you know, that I was not wanted in the mix. The person that I felt the most love and support from as a child growing up were my grandparents, especially my grandmom and my grandpa. They instilled a lot of other values that I didn't necessarily get from having a two-parent household. You know what I'm saying? So, I just wanted to share this video because it really hit a nerve with me. You know, you don't have to pretend. If you and these individuals don't have that connection, don't force it. Don't, appreciate who they are and what they did for you. But know that they life was lifing. Things happen. They dealt with the situation as best they could. It's not how they drew it out. They dealt with it the best they could, right? Because then when I became a parent of my own and I had to go through my own baby mama drama, my own trying to find myself as a man and as a father and deal with all that came with that without the proper guidance or support of my own parents, just, feeling a alone in the world, so to say, I even further forgave them for what going on because of how my own experiences went, and I just felt as though if I had some proper guidance or some proper just a different environment to foster love and respect and things, and I would have been able to pick better partners to procreate with and kind of end that trauma passing cycle. I try to be as honest as I can with my kids and express, because I always felt as though I wanted the raw information. Like I always felt like things were being withheld from me because I was a kid or because they felt as though that I wouldn't understand. So I went a kind of a little overboard with mine, with telling them the raw and uncut truth, whether I felt as though they might have been too young at the time. I needed, because, you don't want your kids to feel like, why didn't he come around for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, or why couldn't I get as many gifts, or whatever the situation is. I wanted to be straight up with my kids and it'd be like, look, I love you. This is what is going on right this very moment. I'm going to do this, that, and the third to try to make it up, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever the situation, I wanted to let them know that, like, I am not abandoning you. I'm not leaving you. I am here for you. If you want me to be, like, I'm here for you. I will do my best to be a parent. And, life's, whether they fully received that message or fully received the love or knowledge I was trying to pour into them is only an opinion or decision that they can make or that they can say. I can only say what I tried to do, and I can only be aware and recognize and analyze what my parents tried to do. Whether they succeeded or failed, I can acknowledge that they tried, right? And sometimes it felt as though like the remaining parent, even though they stayed, were they stuck in the situation through obligation, through, just legal stuff, or just the perception of society by not wanting to give your child up to foster care or into the system or whatever the case may be, right? They just weathered the storm whether they liked you or not, right? And then soon as you got tall enough, big enough to feed yourself and count to 10, they were mushing you out the door, right? It happens all the time. It's like one of those unspoken about topics, right? Because it just gets very touchy because you don't want to make it seem like you're disrespecting your parents, but you also don't want to make it seem like you're not wanting to be honest about the situation that you were raised in. So I want to know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Do you have or do you know of any parental trauma that you have recognized that once you got older, or can recognize in someone close to you, a cousin, a best friend, whoever, right? Or are you in a situation like that where you are the parent who stayed or the parent who left and are trying to navigate that situation the best you can? So I want to know your thoughts. It's your boy Hoon Boom. This is another segment of the Hold Up Show. And share with me what you think. Peace.